Hello, I'm Drew Robinson here, and I did my research project on right what it says there. The Judeo-Christian principles outlined in the founding of our nation and the Declaration and the Constitution. So I'm going to go through it real quick. Now, first, I'm going to go through some prominent readings here that I have. The first one is by John Eichmo. Here's the book, Christianity and the Constitution. The second is Mark David Hall, Did America Have a Christian Founding? And the third is by Daniel Dreisbach, which some of these guys we've studied in our course on reading the Bible with the Founding Fathers. Now, I recommend all three of these books. The main one that I really enjoyed was the one by Eidsmoe, but all three are really good. Now, that's in addition to some of the other readings I have. Those were really my three favorites. So just go ahead and get into it. It's like I said, most of the 18th century uh, American colonists they knew the Bible. All right, they were well versed in the Bible. Most literacy was related to the Bible. Okay, that's how people learned to read by going to church during this time, and it was the most well-read document, like I said, of the time. So a lot of times, what we see is that there are there's this notion that sometimes our founding fathers were deists or they weren't Christian. They didn't have necessarily holy Christian beliefs. Well, just to show how popular the scriptures were in the Bible were with the Americans and the colonists at the time, you can look. There's three individuals here which are outlined by Hall, Mark David Hall, and Daniel Dreisbach. They fell out of favor. So Jefferson, he nearly lost the 1800 election because he was critical of the Bible to an extent in his book Notes on the State of Virginia. Uh, Thomas Paine, so he wrote The Age of Reason, which is very critical of the Bible and Christianity. Well, guess what? Nobody really followed him after that. Okay, in fact, hardly anyone, as I said, there attended his funeral. And then Ethan Allen, he wrote the book Reason. Now he died wealthy still, but that book was a failure. Nobody wanted to read that book because it was critical of the Bible. So let's look at some of the religion of the founding fathers. As it says there, a lot of them played their religion close to the vest because there was a fear of this mandate of a state religion if they made their religion known. Okay, that's amongst people like Madison, Franklin to a degree, Jefferson, and even to a degree early Washington. All right, but there were some that were outspoken. So you have kind of a mixture. Some of the ones that are more outspoken, obviously John Witherspoon, who was a minister. Sam Adams, Patrick Henry, John Jay. Now, one thing, so Washington in his farewell address, just to show that he was, a believer, he mentioned a higher power being God several times. Well, there's sometimes it's critical that there's no mention of God. All right, there's mention of things like providence or their creator in the Declaration, things like that. So that means they weren't specifically talking about a Judeo-Christian God. Well, Hall and Dreisbach and Eismo some too. They all mentioned that at the time it wasn't uncommon to refer to God as providence or our creator or him, things like that. That was not uncommon even amongst the regular Christian colonists. So there's that. Now, some of the main points. All right, the main point that I really got out of a lot of this was the founders were aware of the original sin or sin of man. Okay, Hamilton, one thing he said or wrote: "Take mankind in general; they are vicious." Look, and really, what document that got me was look no further than Federalist 51, written by James Madison, the father of the Constitution, and it says, if men were angels, then government wouldn't be necessary. Okay, or um, or if those who govern were angels, then you wouldn't need no internal or external controls, meaning no checks and balances. So these are the things that the founders were aware of. They knew that man was sinful and man was evil, all right, to a degree. So they had to set up the main problem that they were having, a task, is a better word, to set up a government that can control and is effective in controlling man. So that you don't have a tyrannical government. All right. And the consent of the governed. All right. So that's another thing that Eidsmoe points out in his book. Citizens choose their leaders. All right. That is a principle that Eidsmoe gives countless examples of the people of Israel and Israelites choosing their king. All right. So that's he gives several examples there of that, and then the rights of the accused. All right, that goes. He gives an example from Deuteronomy about that. This is a quote right from Deuteronomy: a person was presumed innocent until two witnesses testified against him. So this is the principles that are outlined in our Constitution. Now, if we look at the Declaration, the three things I've always thought the Declaration, even since I was in like high school, was related to Christianity, even though some of the other teachers I teach with say it's not has nothing to do with Christianity. Well, I thought this is I recognized this in high school. Now it doesn't say property anymore, but life, okay. Well, thou shalt not kill. That's one of the 10 Commandments of Exodus. Liberty, all right, Exodus 21:16. Anyone who kidnaps someone shall be put to death. Property, all right, thou shalt not steal. Now, obviously they amended it to say pursuit of happiness, but those are the three things coming from Locke, who was a Christian individual as well. So this notion or belief that the founders were unchristian or deist or children of the Enlightenment. Yeah, the Enlightenment, uh, the Enlightenment was a direction to them for some degree. But John Locke, well, he was a Christian individual, a believer in Christianity, so as well. So you can get, to me, the founding of America is based off Judeo-Christian principles, and that's what my research is on.